A monster. When hearing this word, what is the first thing you think of? A rapist? A murderer? Actual monsters? A Disney bad guy? Or do you think deeper, such as someone who intentionally commits wrongdoings, or someone who doesn't care about the well-being of others?
In the book Monster, author Walter Dean Myers admits 16-year-old Steve Harmon, on trial for murder, to be a monster.
Although Steve was said to be innocent in the case, he committed several monstrous acts. These include selfishness, breaking the trust of his loved ones, and committing self-centered acts. During the trial, Steve was selfish enough to only think of himself, even when the people who cared about him surrounded him throughout the whole thing. Evidence of this is seen when Steve exits the courtroom before he is told the verdict has been decided. Steve states that as exiting the courtroom, he sees his mom clinging to his father's arm. There was a look of desperation on her face. For a moment, I felt sorry for her, but I don't anymore. By saying this, Steve shows the reader that he truly is a selfish person. Another monstrous act that Steve committed was said in the earlier notes entries. When getting dressed before a trial, Steve notices his clothes were cleaned and ironed for him by his mother. He begins to think about his mother, but quickly turns down the thoughts of her. He then says, "I think about myself so much, about what's going to happen to me and all, that I don't think about my folks that much." Steve's mother is kind enough to make sure her son's clothes are cleaned and ironed, and Steve still has the nerve to only think of himself. Last, but certainly not least, Steve broke the trust of the ones closest to him. At the end of the trial, when Steve was declared not guilty, Steve's father claimed to be thankful that Steve did not have to go to jail, but then made the decision to move away from Steve. Steve claims that, "My father is no longer sure of who I am. He doesn't understand me, even knowing people like King, or Bobo, or Osvaldo. He wonders what else he doesn't know." Even though Steve was said to be innocent, he broke the trust of the people that loved him the most. In the end, those who are proven innocent in the court of law can still be guilty of monstrous acts.